Welcome to Reality After Show coverage of Million Dollar Secret. That's right, Netflix's number 3 show right now. If you're paying attention, Philip, what's the latest numbers?
3.1 million viewers so far, and that is just in the week since release.
Wow. Well, I'm Jonny Fairplay. Bobby Goodsby had a severe pegging incident. Cannot be here. Oh my God! Stop hanging out with Matt Bischoff. Those things happen. But Phillip Solomon, you're back. My favorite Dondi. Don't tell.
You say that to all the Dondis. Get out of here.
I did not tell that to Parvati. You
Wow.
can check
Wow.
check the tape. Check the tape. So we're on episode 3, and we left off on a cliffhanger, so to speak. They dropped 3 at a time, so it's not really because it just keeps going. The next episode goes, and here we are. And wow, Lauren is sick of lying. Guess what, Philip? It was her. She, in fact, had the $1 million box. Is this a horrific move?
Okay, do I think that it killed her game to reveal that information to everyone? No, for me, it actually wasn't the reveal itself, but it was the attitude that took place after the reveal. The idea that I was the millionaire and now I have all this information that you guys don't have. And also, because I was honest with you, you're welcome. And I was like, oh, that's going to put a really bad taste in everyone's mouths. And spoiler alert, it did.
Yeah, so I understand the two schools of thought of whether to reveal or not reveal, and with me personally, I could maneuver either route, pretty efficiently, I would think. Lauren, however, went from my favorite player, easily the most likable player,
Yes,
to the end of the episode. I'm like, let it be Lauren to go. Like,
yeah.
whatever she gained by admitting that she had the $1 million box, she literally pulled from herself. It was like, hey, here I am as a target. And you have a savvy player. I'm not a fan of Chris, and I don't like him. However, that was savvy of Chris to weaponize Lauren's attitude. So it's one of those deals where if you're going to admit this, I understand, keeping your cards close to the vest is like, hey, I'm going to tell you this, but I'm not going to tell you this. I felt like she told plenty, and that may have been more than enough. But the attitude regarding what she didn't say it wasn't cute.
It just wasn't a good look for her. And even in just kind of breaking this down in terms of Survivor, you're much better with the player names than I am. But on this season of Australian Survivor, there was a castaway that found an immunity idol, and instead of keeping it a secret, he wore it around his neck and like wore it to everyone and be like, hello, everyone, look at me, immune. I know we haven't met yet, but I'm immune and you're not. And it just rubbed everyone the wrong way. And I was like, this is giving that right now, because I mean, with all due respect, she is immune technically because she's not the millionaire anymore. But at the same time, if you're not a likable person to the other people in the stag, they might still want to get rid of you.
Yeah, that person is Nash.
Yes.
I'm friends with Nash. He came to my Sydney viewing party. I just got back a couple weeks ago. I did Sydney and Melbourne. In Sydney, I had Paulie and Nash were there, along with King George and the Duchess of Double Bay, Cara. And then in Melbourne, I had pretty much the entire cast there. It was incredible. Thank you so much, everyone in Australia that came and supported. But the crazy thing is, a previous player, I will not reveal how they finished, because I know you're going to go back in the annals of Australian Survivor and catch some more seasons. But there's a previous player named Ferris who is one of the most likable players in the history of the show. And Ferris actually coached Nash going into the game. And when you're voted out of Australian Survivor and you just go home. And,
Okay.
and Nash called my friend Ferris, days after leaving on the journey of a lifetime. It was like, hey, it's like, what do you like? Did you win a challenge in which you got to call me? He's like, no, I'm home. And he was like, what happened? He goes, yeah, everything you told me, I just threw out the window and just literally, I shit myself. I shit the bed. I did everything wrong. I found an idol. I wore it back. I was an asshole. And this is coming. I've met this guy, Nash. Sweet, like comparable to you, Philip. He is that nice a human being in real life. And lights, camera, action. Let me fuck it all up.
Yeah, I think that's what happened with Lauren. I think if I were to meet her anywhere else, I would be like, you are an amazing person, mother, woman. I support you completely. But like that one move and that attitude in the kitchen, I want to say it was Jamie. The eyes did not leave that plate again. And I was like, you lost Jamie. Heads up. Like, you don't have, like, she had a really weird inability to read the room. Yeah, it was bad.
I think being the first $1 million box holder had definitely an emotional effect, almost physical effect on it. Was a lot because it was the opposite. I mean, because we were hearing throughout episodes 1 and 2, she's not a hugger, she's not a liar, so all these things were so much bestowed upon her and she thrived.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, she went back and she was proud of herself as well. She should be, but maybe it's stuff like that you don't share your pride of being like, it's just like, and maybe you can share that, but maybe you share it with the whole, this isn't me. And the fact that I did that, I overcame obstacles within myself. And I'm so proud of myself for doing that because that's not me at all. Here's me. She leaned in on I fucking did it. Yeah. How cool was that? And they're just like, not cool, dude. Not cool.
Yeah, it's so like you have to understand that you have to play both a short game and a long game. And I think she was incredible at the short game. She made all the things happen that she needed to within the first 24 hours, 48 hours. But again, you can't make these decisions that do not benefit you long term. And I think she just wasn't looking far ahead enough as a player.
Yeah. So, oh, well, God bless her. Well, Sam feels vindicated knowing that she was right all along and her diarrhea is done. So she'll be here for a little bit.
She's back, she's hydrated, and she's ready.
Sam, I cannot wait to hear you say mean things about me in an Instagram story and not devoting an entire post. Well, Jamie's irritated. I'm with you, girl. I'm irritated by Lauren right now, and I loved her. Literally 1 episode and 2 episodes prior. It was a lot for Corey and Sydney. This reveal. I understand playing the game with your heart, and they're all in, both of them. Even though Sydney never had a backstory on what her actual career was, as far as location wise is concerned. But Corey is Corey. I'm looking forward to the next drop, episodes 4, 5, and 6. I think Corey's going to be someone that the entire fandom's going to be like, this is our guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's giving fan favorite. It's giving someone that you can root for. But I think the problem with all the players at this point, and I think you'll be able to really speak more insight to this coming from a world of Survivor. Once someone, let's say, flips on you for the vote, does it really matter how they explain their actions that next night? Or are you like, okay, I'm already out on you? Like, is there ever an opportunity to really regain trust 100% or not?
It takes a good conversation.
Okay. All right. Sweet.
Yeah. I'm open. Like, the door's shut, but I haven't deadbolted it.
Okay. That's fair. Cool.
So like when I voted out Burton on Pearl Islands and he comes back, there's a scene they don't show. He's like, hey, where am I sleeping? I'm like, right here. He is, right beside the snake that voted me out. I'm like, hey, welcome back, Burton. The next day, Burton and I, he's just like, what did I do wrong? And I was just like, look, man, I'm like, I don't know how shit's gonna fucking go moving forward, but I'm playing because he's like, I'm willing to do anything. And I was just like, dude, I want to play a shitbag game. Like, I want to be a villain. I want to be the biggest villain in the history of the show. I want to be the biggest villain in the history of reality television. I want to do scumbag shit. And he was like, sign me up. I'm like, where the fuck were you when I wouldn't have gotten rid of you if you had had this conversation with me. So as I said, the door is closed, but it's not deadbolted. If you have that conversation, the follow-up conversation with, hey, I don't like this. I'm not, this isn't me. However, we are playing a game. It's a game for $1 million. This game, above any else we've ever seen, is a game based on deceit. If you're all in, I'm all in. You want to ride or die? Let's fucking go. I'm not only is the door open, I'm giving you the keys to the Airbnb downstairs.
All right, cool. Yeah. So I think with that said, there was a way for Lauren back into the fold. She just didn't take the correct path to get there. I just think it had too much bravado and ego behind it, where it was hard to feel compassionate as a fellow player in the game.
No, as I said, I get the pride. Save the pride for the confessionals, and just lean in on this hurt. Like, you guys have no idea how many times I cried in that fucking bedroom looking at that fucking $1 million case that I could not wait to fucking get out of my hands.
Yeah.
That's the conversation. But her conversation is like, how cool is it that I lied to you and you believed it?
Yeah, she really did not read the room. And again, I think it's one of those things where you have to initially clock people's reactions to it and be able to pivot and move. And she just doubled and tripled down over and over again. And I was like, oh, there's a good chance, even though you're not the millionaire. Like, here's the thing, for her to go home at all in this episode, that would mean that people have to be like, no, we actually dislike you more than winning the game.
More than the potential of winning the game is literally what the vote was. All right. Well, Sydney's like, Lauren, you are dangerous. And Lauren's like, yeah, but we have no connection, so I don't care what you say, hot girl. All right. My initial notes, episode 1, Sydney's the hot girl that doesn't know where she works.
Fair.
Is Sydney less attractive in her actions as we go along?
Yes, I think that I
know she's not your type.
I think it's one of those things where
Philip's not into white girls.
I think it's one of those things where I don't know. I always support people being hot and attractive, and also having a heart of gold and just being a good person. Let's just say you work out very often, or you're a genetic lotto winner, whatever else. Cool, great. Let's take that motivation and also try and be inclusive and try and be nice to other people. And I think that the attitude that she gave in this episode was a little bit more off-putting. And I think that all she had to do was give people a reason not to like her or trust her. And she kind of handed that over, where I wish she would have been the one to really bring the group together, to give it more of a team family dynamic until they had to eventually vote somebody out.
Sydney is still a hot girl.
Yes, always.
However, I feel she's giving Mean Girl vibes, and it's the whole you can't sit with us.
Yeah.
And it's just like, look, we're not in high school. Okay. She can sit with you because you all sit at the table and order Ruth's Chris later, and that's how you vote. So she can in fact sit with you, Sydney. So that's where I'm at there. Phil, damn, he got Phil is in his room. He's waiting. There's only one thing he doesn't want to happen is get the money. Damn, he got the money. And I was loving Phil, and I thought Phil was playing a great game. And I love Phil not backtracking on calling out Say Young last episode. And Phil, there is pressure that comes with this I think physically seeing the $1 million is fucking up some of these people's mentals.
Yeah, I think that it's such a hard game to play, especially this early on, because you have to be able to call out irregular behavior and activities for people that you don't even know what regular is. You don't have like a control to
No,
go off of. So like
there's no
even
there's no Mendoza line here.
yeah, it's like a really hard game to play, especially for him, because I think he's in the hardest position in knowing he's already stepped forward as a leader, as a moral compass, and to now have the money himself, whatever move he makes is going to definitely raise some red flags.
So, well, Phil, but do you think, so the briefcase itself, so the idea, like on Dondi, you're playing for potentially 12 point whatever $1 million, or
Yeah.
or at the time you thought 10 million, there's a 2 million bonus, but that was an idea. Do you think seeing that $1 million in front of you is such an additional mind fuck that it is a mind fuck that you're fucking up your game?
I want to say yes for the first time players. Like, I think in going into Deal or No Deal Island, you can see all of us episode 1 through 3, a disaster area, just fish out of water. We're not used to the cameras, the mics, and having to navigate the game and stuff like that. So I do think that right now it's so early on that once you see it, it's such a jarring thing initially. But I do think that like eventually they'll get much better at it. I hope so.
But I think having that $1 million in your hand, you're like, fuck, this is mine. There's no way I can fuck this up unless I fuck this up. And then you fucking fuck this up.
I think the one thing that can get you in trouble is saying, I don't want the $1 million. And if I open this up and I get the $1 million, I am dead in the water. And he had that attitude and he opened it up. And I was like, yep, if you think you're dead, you're dead. It's over.
Yeah. So, well, his agenda is pretty simple. Get 3 people to say, no, I don't believe, or do you believe me? And then say no to that. I think this was easier accomplished than Phil made it out to be. Like, I mean, when we'll get to it, when they're skipping rocks, it's just like, I bet I can skip the rock 5 times. And it's like, no, you can't. It's like, do you believe me? It's like, no. You know, or when they go back for sushi later, it's just like, I bet I could I bet I could eat. It's like, oh my God, this is so much food. I bet I could eat all these. Do you think you could? It's like, no. It's like, do you think I could? It's like, no. It's like, I think I could. Do you believe me? No. So I think you could casually do that one.
I think if we're learning anything that about these challenges, agenda things, so on and so forth, they are all easily accomplished if you're willing to work with people and talk to them one-on-one. I think all of them seem weird and strange if you do it in a group dynamic, but between the hugs, the song titles, the do you believe me, I think that could really come down to having one-on-one conversations. If I were to say, as a bodybuilder and personal trainer, I spent most of my life overweight. Can you believe that? Do you even believe me? And they'd be like, well, no, I don't believe. But like, again, I think there are ways of doing it, but you have to do it one-on-one, because if you allow people to compare the notes, that's where I think you get in trouble here.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest takeaway. If they do a season 2 and you're about to go on season 2 of $1 Million Secret and you're watching this as prep, which you should, because you have experts here. Not that have played the game, but have played a similar game. Agendas one-on-one is the way to go.
Always, yes.
So, because we're seeing fractures in the stag, and those people aren't talking to one another.
They aren't talking, right? Yeah, and so you need to see the holes, take advantage of those holes. Yeah.
Yeah, don't go to, like, if you see Chris's group and Team Sydney or team, like you pick a couple from one or the other, and it's boom. There is no cross pollination on what is been done, what has been said. They're not exchanging notes.
Right, of course.
And even when they are all together, I feel like that group's not listening to the other group just because, just the arrogance.
Yes, they don't trust the other half. And so for you,
Yeah.
it's up to you being able to play both halves and like be able to accomplish what you need to. But I will understand. I do think that Hill made a good decision in not trying it and knowing the game he was playing. I think like you and I personally have been like, okay, great. Wait, I'm not dead in the water just yet. But because he's so, I can't do this, I think him attempting to do it would almost ensure that he was dead. So I think for him, that was a good call for him right now.
Do you think he was scared to do it because he's a bigger black man? Do you think meant like that was it was just like I'm the big black guy. Can I be aggressive in some? Because, we had that, for those of you that didn't catch the conversation, episode 2. There's a full discussion, and you revealed that you put it upon yourself, that I have to be a representative. I can't portray what some people would want to portray about me that's not true. And like, so as he's in there, it's just like, is that aggro for me to come up to someone and say, do you believe me? Like, it's just like, what, you don't believe me because I'm black? Like it's
I just don't think, I think that he has a pretty neutral personality instead of being super warm and inviting. And that's not a read on him, an insult on him, but like he doesn't read super warm and inviting. And I think that you have to know that, like, because all of his interpersonal communication is not delivered with a smile, I do think in a game like this, it could be perceived as maybe more aggressive than it would be. So again, I think if it were me, I would have taken that challenge on. But for him, I was like, probably better that you didn't. Okay. Yeah. All right, that's fair.
I think I'm looking at Phil and I'm just like, this Phil actually looks like one of my friends. And I'm like, Phil's a big teddy bear. He will never fucking admit that he's a big teddy bear, but he's a big teddy bear. And if you call him on it, he's like, I'm a big teddy bear. and that's Phil. But I think the fact that he is a bigger guy, it's just like, ooh, can you talk to him? Like, and it's just like, oh my God, just stop. Like I don't care if you're Say Young or if you're Phil, they're both human beings, and and whether their approachability is not based on size, color, whatever, it's based on what's in here and what's in here, and it's just like, strip that and go. But it's humanity as we've seen, through thousands of years of, just like, well, I think this going in, so that's probably a thing. So, and that's, I've been fortunate enough, I've done 90 television shows, and I've met every walk of life, from doing those shows and then meeting people on other shows, doing the podcast, doing the charity events. It's just like, if I hate you on TV, I probably like you in real life. If I like you on TV, you please hold up what I value. So it's like, I just walk into so many of these situations with open arms, but know that I'm a scumbag, and I'm trying to win a game for a 7-year-old, a 17-year-old, and a smoke show fiance.
I think that one of the things we also have to take into account with agendas from this point on is that look at the ratio also of men versus women as well. And I think that, no offense to my dudes, my bros, but small things like that, I think the women pick up on it easier. And I think if it was a nice split of like half and half, he could probably float that "do you believe me" thing by all the guys and no one would ever know. And it would just be just kind of normal, regular.
It's bro talk.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that, like, also in looking at the numbers and the ratio in the house, he was just like, you know what? No, I'm out. I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah. So, if he were to achieve it, it's 3 votes or 1 vote against if you can't. And he's like, well, no, it's just you get 3 votes or 1 vote. And he's like, whatever. So it's right here. We very quickly learn that he's a professor and a therapist. And I'm just like, yeah, a little more on character development, guys. I'm 3 episodes in. I really want to know more about these people because they're not exchanging that information in conversations. It's left to us to discover this by way of confessionals. I need more in confessionals, and with first time players, we're not getting it because they're not used to giving it.
Yeah, he does come off as intellectual. So I don't think any of the viewers were surprised. But you want to know that not only is he intellectual academically, but also socially and psychologically. I think all those things do play into a game like this. So that makes sense.
Yeah. All right. Well, Sydney is not saying anything, according to Lauren. Oh, hot take. Kara or Cara, one of those is correct. She thinks it's Phil because Phil has been not scared to share his opinion. I think he's made a little friend circle, and inside his friend circle, he stopped talking. Phil, you got to talk.
Yeah, I think she clocked it almost way before anyone else. And she said it with such like, well, I know it's Phil. And you're like, oh, okay. So like I definitely applaud her ability to read the room. And for her, I think that her number one thing that she says is his energy has shifted since the day before. And so the thing is, because he came in so hot for so young and he came in at a level 12, it's weird that he woke up in the morning and he's back to a level 3. And she's like, that was a weird transition. And so I think in looking at a game like this where the people you met, that's the regular version of themselves. Now you're looking for anything irregular. That was a big mistake by him. Yes, agree.
And I think they were cool before. And I think the fact that he went from being real to being passive, she was just like, oh, well, my real friend Phil is no longer here, so he must have $1 million in his box.
He did not participate. He opted out. He almost kind of put up, okay. So I think he said like 3 words the whole episode in any kind of like group dynamic scene. It's almost like, without me making myself sound old, remember on AOL, like Instant Messenger, when you used to put up an away message, he physically put up an away message. He was like, I don't even know where I'm at. And I'm like, dude, when they're like, who did you vote for? He doesn't even participate. And I'm like, you have to speak a little.
No, Philip, if it wasn't for an old school reference, we wouldn't know it was you. So, yeah. Anyone that's ever read Tom Sawyer or Huckleberry Finn, Philip would love to tell you all about it because I don't think you can read those anymore. Well, guess what? It's elimination challenge time. I don't like the name elimination because no one's. I guess you're kind of eliminated, but whatever. Anyway, it's they're all sitting at a table. The things are revealed. It's creatures. And it's a pictogram, and place these things in a cage. There is a rat, a cockroach, a hissing cockroach, not a normal cockroach, one of the hisses, a Pac-Man frog, a hedgehog, and a snake. And Phil wants to hear what's said in the trophy rooms. There's no way he's going to lose. And Sydney, oh my God, she hates a snake more than anything else. Well, that would not work out if we were dating. Sydney overcomes her fears. Team B wins. Yay. I don't like Chris. That's still on my notes. And post-elimination challenge, Sydney wants to be the one to get the information. And Lauren is the only one not guaranteed to be the millionaire, so she wants to get the information. And Corey wants the information because he's going to be straight up, just like Paula Abdul has informed us to be. And yes, so Corey is the one that will receive the information. They're in the trophy room, and the millionaire did not even attempt the agenda. And also information shared that the millionaire was not chased by the dog in the first challenge. These clues are a lot.
They are. And I want to applaud I don't know if it's the game team, the producers, whoever's putting these clues together, because you could very much tell that they have to kind of almost regroup every night and see kind of like where the game is, because you can't really lay out a lot of these in advance. So you really have to be in tune with your players, in tune with what's happening. And you can't just depend on the drama. You need to see where we are in the game, who wins, who does not. So I applaud the team that's working behind the scenes here, because it feels very much like they know what's happening and they know how to pivot and shift it as they go.
I think it'd be a lot easier if they just said the person with $1 million in the box is black. I think that would be. No.
I do love this clue, and I'm going to tell you why. Everyone believes that this clue technically eliminates half of them. It does not. It eliminates anyone that was working on the code, but also there were people that just never got the dog unlocked. So theoretically, it does kind of work on more than one level.
There was an out there. Yeah, no, I love the clue too, and I'm glad they say the person with the $1 million box was not black. That would not have been good. Well, guess what? For those of you that are listening and not watching, my friend Philip is not white, so we're good. This is not we're not doing that podcast. This is not
just a quick spoiler alert. Black as hell. In case you haven't tuned in recently, if you haven't, Deal or No Deal Island season 2 now on NBC and Peacock.
Yeah, the Black Widow is here.
I mean.
No, fast. I did not. Oh my God! Just imagine if I had put out the T-shirt without knowing.
Not bad.
Should we? Do we need? We need to make that T-shirt, Philip. We need to do the Black Widow T-shirt.
I'm here for the merch always.
I got a guy. Well, I got a guy.
You got a guy? All right, cool.
I got a guy. Well, Kara or Kara, one of those is correct. I will know at the. I will put an accent mark where I need to. She knows it's Phil, and I'm like, oh my God, please stop. The millionaire was not chased by the hound is revealed to everyone because Corey's just like, hey, I wasn't chased by the hound, so should I really reveal this information? And he's just like, but if there's another, so is this the right move, revealing the information if you're Corey?
Oof. See, this is hard. I would reveal the information as it was given to me in order to kind of like garner some kind of trust here. I understand that, but I feel like I'm going to make the prediction that you might have flipped that clue and said
I'm making it up. Yeah. I'm controlling who I want the spotlight on. I'm just going to be like, they came back and they said it was a female.
That's fair. Yeah, that's smart. I just don't know. It's hard with the editing to see how much time there is to think of things, because even getting to watch my show back now, I was like, if I would have had 10 extra minutes, I would have had a completely different plan. But because it's so like fly by the seat of your pants as it goes, like I just wish I had that mindset in going through show number 1, of course.
But I also feel like they're telling a lot about what people are doing, which is true and not true. And I'm just like, okay, if I tell them that the clue was the person's a female, and then Peter at when the Ruth's Chris dinner is over, is like, oh, by the way, it was never said that the person with the brief with the $1 million box was a female. It's like, whoa, motherfucker! Like what? We don't need to say that.
I would never say that. Right? True. If I lied about it, no one would ever know. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So I feel the show is going to be a lot more fun and a lot more fun to navigate as a player, and a lot more fun to see how they navigate based on what they're they're overly revealing with shit that I don't like. Like I would like a little more secrecy on a game based on secrets that's literally fucking called $1 Million Secret.
Yeah, I think it's just hard for them. And I will also say that as like, again, episode 1 through 3 for all of the civilians, it was so hard for us to be like, so you want us to say one thing and do another? And it feels so easy at home. But as a normal, average, everyday adult, you're not used to basing your identity off of like these untruths. And so it's weird to get into the habit of it. Once you do it and you do it well, you learn it. But it's one of those things where you don't naturally have that skill.
Well, it's like Philip, what's your favorite band?
The what? Sorry?
What's your favorite band or favorite group?
In Sync. That was an absolutely awful answer. I'm sorry for that. But In Sync, sure.
Okay, mine, White Stripes, Beastie Boys, or favorite rapper, Ice Cube. But I'm not allowed to answer that question in the show.
Yeah.
And so then what the fuck do we talk about?
Yeah, I think you have to build an identity and build a different version of yourself that is also closely related to yourself. That's where I think people fall short. They say that they are a bartender, but they've never really tended bar or even poured a drink. So when someone says, "What's in a Long Island again?" and you have absolutely no idea, I'm like, no, then that was the wrong thing for you to choose. You still have to be able to know enough information to be able to navigate the game and still seem in the know.
But there's also 11 other people that can't answer the question that they're asked. And I'm just like, it's a flaw. It's a flaw. As I said, I think this will get better season 2 in that I think a lot of people will fully stock their backstory going in.
Yeah, it almost reminds me of the difference between Netflix The Circle season 1 versus 2. It was very different because now they're like, I understand like the game, the deception that has to be played and such. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't even think Joey Sasso wins season 1 if they knew how the game was played.
Agreed. Yes.
Shuby wins.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah, totally.
So, well, that's all right. Shuby's on Backyard Games. He'll get his money. It's okay.
Not Backyard. Yes.
Well, Lauren reveals to everyone that Sydney had shortness of breath. Oh, wow. There we go. Sydney says, maybe in lieu of going after a millionaire, we should go after someone more dangerous, as in Lauren. I'm like, oh, no. Lauren, please tell me that your pride is not going to send you home. Well, guess what? Sydney has an alliance, and Kyle is forming an alliance to counter Sydney's alliance. Oh, my God. It's Survivor all over again. And Phil is the deciding vote. Well, there's no way that Phil's going to fuck up his game and vote the wrong way. We'll get there.
My question for you is the following. Do you believe that half of the house actually believes Lauren is dangerous, or is it an ego thing where they're like, she's just annoying and we want her gone? Like, I don't believe she's giving a dangerous person in the game because we already saw her emotionally kind of like crumble, and it's been 48 hours. So do I think they're really threatened by her game? I don't think so. I think they're just annoyed and angry.
Yeah, no, I think they're annoyed and angry, and we've chosen sides, and that's the one person, that's the other person, and that's it. So, but yeah, Lauren has done herself no favors whatsoever. Lydia says that Sydney is going to hell on a scholarship.
The line of all 3 episodes combined, I was like, oh, I think it's just also the age and the accent. It just all clicks where it has to click.
This was the Phillip Solomon of it all. This was, were you like sitting back going, oh yeah, I'd do that one. That was one of mine.
I wrote it down on a little note and I stuck it in my tits just like Lauren. I was like,
oh, that's where you
do that later.
That's where you keep the receipts.
All day, every day.
All day, every day. Yes, not in a tropical geisha girl onesie, or 2-piece short set as I rock.
Either way.
So yeah, Phil is already buying new 13-inch rims on his Kia Soul. Whew.
Not the Soul.
I'm not a Kia guy. I mean, they may sponsor the podcast one day. Probably not after this. I'm not. You like a Kia?
I had a Kia Sportage, which is my favorite vehicle that they make. But apparently, there's something with the locks or the door where it is the most stolen vehicle in Austin. And so when I moved here, I got a brand new car. Yes.
What are you driving now?
Right now, I'm driving a Tucson. Yeah.
Okay. I'm driving a Volkswagen right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I like the Fahrvergnügen.
I feel like I heard that thing in like 1998 where they were like, only buy American, and I was like, okay. And then I just never was able to go outside of the American car.
Well, according to X, you need a Tesla. Is what I that's what every fourth tweet. I need a Tesla, and I'm just like, do I need a Tesla?
No.
I don't
You don't need that.
All right. Okay, fair enough. I do like the self-drive. Like, there's been plenty of night where I wish I wasn't driving. You know,
Don't tell the police that.
no. I'm not talking. I'm not talking alcohol. I'm just saying, like, I'm tired.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
Yeah, I have long days. I did I mention I stay up till 3 a.m. watching Temptation Island, then wake up at 7 a.m. to do an Australian Survivor podcast.
I mean, whenever I'm up, you're up, so that makes sense.
I know, and you're on the other side of the country. So yeah, when King George is up, he's in Australia. I'm up. It's like, when do I sleep? And I love sleep. Big fan. I will say, the second my head hits the pillow, I'm out.
Out, always, yes, please.
1 second, I'm out. So that means I did life right that day.
Always.
Or really wrong. And all right, fair enough. Sydney may look like $1 million, but she's not the millionaire.
She is not the millionaire. No.
You're no reaction to the first part of that statement?
It was giving, that show on MTV, like Next or
Next,
where they're like,
I think my first baby mama was on Next, if I'm not mistaken.
It was giving one of those. I might look like $1 million, but I'm not a millionaire. And I'm like, I don't want it. I don't want this. I'm over it. Nope, I'm done.
Oh my God, Sydney's from Next. Oh wow, and quite the callback, Phillip.
Always.
Have you, other than this show, have you watched television or read a book in the last 40 years?
I have, but I just love when things can go back and like reference themselves. It's great.
You like a call. I mean, if you looked at my record selection over here, this is all this is pretty much all 90s hip hop and grunge.
I love that.
Yeah. So, and according to my fiance, they've made fucking records since.
They have. This is true.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the mumble rap. I'll be honest with you. Just don't like it. I've tried to listen to some. They're just like blah 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 Percocet, blah blah blah, and I'm just like, wow. I'm just like, I don't like Percocet when I'm sick, much less when I'm not. So
I mean, there are some drugs, some downers that are having the year right now. Lorazepam is having a year. We are here for Pam right now. This is it.
All right. Well, Sam Adams cold snap. You won me over. So I'm going to turn down the lorazepam and the whatever other pan that Gordon Ramsay's hawking on Instagram this week, and we're gonna stick with cold snap from Sam Adams. It's not paying me $1. Really should. Well, it's elimination dinner time. You know what that means. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse is here. We got the we got the ribeye, we got the tomahawk, we got the filet mignon. It's also time to vote. And Chris is voting Lauren. He can't wait to say that and get a little bit of airtime.
Yeah, I foresee that I would never be a person that would put my vote out there unless asked. But I feel like there are a few people that are just enthusiastic to be like, and heads up, I'm voting for Lauren. And you're like, okay, great, thank you. But like, I don't think I would ever share that information unless somebody asked me. Yes.
So, do you like Chris or not?
I haven't made a decision on him. I think that Chris is the medium, I guess we can call him the control, the normal guy, that then you have to judge everyone else off of him. Either they're higher in energy and higher in personality or lower than him, but I feel like he's like smack in the middle.
I think Kyle, perhaps I have to go back to my notes because he hasn't said anything since then. Yes, I think Kyle is the control, and Chris is a little more hype and a little like I feel like there's just a negativity that comes with Chris that I don't like. Whereas Kyle, who I think has zero chance of winning and seems like a very nice young gentleman, I feel like there's a little more kindness to him versus Chris.
I think in doing the research that I have on Chris, I want to say he's a company founder or CEO or something. So I think like that's what, like, I don't think people like that in that kind of executive of a position have an ability to turn that executiveness off. And so I think even if he's incorrect, he's going to stand on it hard either way.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, Lauren's going Sydney because they're not friends. And Sydney was like, "Why are you saying my name? Because if you didn't know, I look like $1 million." And Sydney, you do. You're a very attractive girl. Well, guess what? Lauren's got receipts in her bra, and the receipt, and then Chris is an asshole. Appearing to my notes, who's to say? Jamie is irked. And Phil at this point is maybe talking too much at dinner. Like Phil, who has said 3 words all day, now chooses to pipe up. And I'm just like, kayfabe, brother, maybe a little less right now. Do a little more talking during the day, not about anything. Anything in particular. Like, just like, hey, you like Bon Jovi? Slippery and Wet. That's a fucking hit.
I think he piped up to try and save his friend and his alliance, but he is not in the position where he can be doing that right now. If it was any other time, they'd be like, that makes sense.
And he is only the swing vote in his alliance. He doesn't even need to state his case.
Agree. Yes.
And you have Kyle who's lying, saying he's voting for Laura. There's literally no reason for Phil to go out on a limb.
And that's where I think the game players like Boston Rob benefit, because there was some round of the round table where someone brought his name up and he managed to get it on 2 other people and it split the vote that way. Instead, like he just managed to do that Peter Griffin thing of like backing up into the tree, and he was like, bye. No, Homer Simpson of being like, bye. And like he had that opportunity and he just didn't take it.
It's the bush.
It's the bush. Yep.
That's me at 1 a.m. backing into the bush is my game plan. I'll tell you that, brother. All right. I don't even know what that means. All right. Yes. Lauren has been less likable since being a millionaire. I have that in my notes. It's true. All right. It's time for the votes. It's a tie. It's a revote. That means we need to vote again. It's a tie again. And Phil, you had a move to make right here. I feel if you had looked at the game in a little bit of okay. Well, you didn't. Yes, the tie is broken. Lauren, open your box. And Lauren says, don't get distracted by louder voices. She's literally speaking about Sydney. It's the hotter voice is the word you were looking for. And so as a result of Phil's decision, we're narrowed down to 3 people now. It can only be 3 people that are like, we've gone from 12 to 11 to 10 to 6 to 3 based on Phil's stupid decision. It is either Sydney, Kara, or Cara. One of those is correct. And Phil have to be the millionaire.
Yeah, his big misstep here was in being like, yeah, we're going to send Lauren home. But I was like, but that doesn't help you as the millionaire because we know Lauren's not the millionaire. And so that really only puts more of a spotlight on you. But like, again, I just think he was playing a very short game. He's like, I saved my alliance. My friend Sydney's still here. Great. But like, you still have the money, bud. And you didn't make a great case for not having the money. And we're about to see that fall apart even more so when everyone literally pieces it together with him right there.
Oh, yeah. So let's piece it together. Like, hey, everyone share your vote. And Sydney's like, hey, I didn't go home. I'll share my vote. I'm hot. So, yeah, everyone shares their vote. Phil's like,
he doesn't even speak. And then when they ask him, he's like, huh, what, me? I'm like, dude, you're killing me.
Yeah. Like literally episode 4 should be because they have different titles. I know the first episode was Instant Millionaire. I don't think I wrote down the others, but episode 4 should be Phil Goes Home. Right.
Yeah. This one's gonna be rough because they piece it together and poor Lydia's like, yep, I bet tomorrow's gonna blow for you. And I was like, oh no, this is not good.
Yeah, grandma poker player. She's like, hey, you didn't admit your vote and tomorrow's going to suck. And she's like, remember, Maybe it's Say Young. Maybe. Oh no, it's not.
Can I vote for her again? Say Young,
Yeah.
can you come back? Can we?
Okay, yeah, let's revisit this whole Say Young thing. I think so. Yeah. So there we go. Episode 3. Whoo! Wow, this is quite the app. Did you have this on your bingo card that we were going to do this today?
I did not, but what I will say is it was a pleasant Netflix surprise. I think that Netflix has almost kind of had a problem of putting out a million shows that look the same, and I think that they actually managed to set this show apart from their other ones, where I think this will be a show that can continue on for more than one season. There's longevity here. Shout out to casting team, production, the directors. It's all there. There's all these things here in place to make this a really good show. Even in how they split episode 1 through 3, I feel like although I do want more personal backstory, there's enough for me to tune in again tomorrow, I believe. There's enough for me to tune in again to see episodes 4, 5, and 6. So I'm in there. I'm good.
Yeah, I think 4, 5, and 6 will be the determining factor if there's a season 2. If we get the emotional connections between these people and our guests and the viewer, I think that's going to speak strongly on how this show is viewed as a success or a failure. And I think it is very comparable to Traitors, but in gameplay wise, potentially better. I don't like, I feel like the clues are just so much, but, and at the same token, like, do I want to be on Traitors? Yes. Was I happy I was on House of Villains? Yes. Was I happy I was on Survivor? Yes. Does this show work in format for celebrities? I don't think so, because if the clues are, and maybe this where there could be a reformatting, if the clues are what's their real job, you have 6 celebrities here. It's just like, well, Googling Jonny Fairplay over the last 22 years of him being on television, I know that Jonny Fairplay blank.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we are looking for celebrities in seeing Got to Get Out and Traitors and all that other stuff. And because we don't have them to look to, I actually appreciate just like civilians being civilians. When they're bad at the game at the beginning, they're all equally bad at the game at the beginning, and they'll all kind of grow and evolve all at once, which is what I'm really looking forward to as a viewer. Okay, so I'm going to ask you, I guess, 2 questions. They can have the same answer. Who's your favorite player as far as like who you're connecting with and personality wise? And then who's your favorite players and like they're playing the best so far? Because those might not necessarily be the same answers.
Oh, I don't know if I can even answer. My favorite player. Well, I mean, I really like Phil, but he's going home, so I'm just disqualifying him. If I predict correctly, I think Corey is going to leave the next 3 episodes as a fan favorite, and I stand that. I think he's fun. I think Kara or Kara, one of those is correct. I think she's based on the edit a potential winner pick, and I think that's a good winner pick. I like her. I think there's a likability. We haven't got a lot from anyone, and we really haven't got a lot from her other than the trauma story, and she works at In-N-Out, which, it's also a trauma story of sorts. But my favorite player is Sam.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I went from hating her to being like, I don't want her to leave my TV, but I don't like her, to I like her, and like, I mean, maybe for every wrong reason, but I don't want Sam off my TV. Like I like Sam not having diarrhea, participating, and not owning anything that happens in her life, maybe in real life and here. The fact that she's a cop and can't shoot anything and connect, all those things. Sam is by far my favorite player.
So she got some electrolytes and you're like, I'm here for it. Okay, cool. She's back in the game. I love how she's not a police officer until she has the one-on-one with, is it Lauren that she literally is like, look at me. Look at me. And I was like, you are police officer as hell right now. She's like, I need you to stop being so emotional. I need you to look at me and tell me what happened. And I was like, oh, that's giving police officer.
Well, that's what dental hygienists do too.
I mean, I think my favorite player to hang out with, like my favorite person in the real world, is probably Jamie. I think she's been smart. Her confessionals have been good. She has a pretty good read of the room. And also you can read the emotions on her face. I think you know what she's thinking and you know that she's being honest and upfront. But the player that I think is playing the best game currently is Lydia. I think she has a really good read on the game. But what I get scared of is what you were talking about, and I want to say episode 1. As a poker player, is she taking too much information in and not letting enough of it out? What we can say is from her confessionals, she's smart and she's been correct as she's clocked it every single time. But as a poker player, you try to keep a poker face. And I don't know if she's going to be able to have that moment at the round table, dinner table, Ruth Chris steakhouse table to be able to say, I think it's this one. But also, I appreciate the fact of when she does speak up, that means people will trust her because she's not going to speak up very often.
Yeah. I like Jamie. I just feel that Jamie got spicy for no reason. And I think that's going to be her downfall. I admire passion. I get spicy. But I have the ability to walk that back. And if Jamie has that same ability, great. But there's few and far between in the history of reality television that can do that and then walk that back. And I don't know if Jamie is if Jamie's in the reality elite, God bless her. Then I'm on the Jamie train. But yeah. I don't feel like I think when Jamie goes spicy, there's no, and I think Jamie's going to spicy herself into a hole.
Yeah, as someone who that happened to, yes, you're not wrong.
So, but yeah, no, I think there's some meat on the bone here. Yes. As I said, I think we have plenty. The likes outweigh the dislikes, but episodes 4, 5, and 6 are going to be very instrumental on where our final review will be. Like this will be the crux of the matter. This is where where the donuts are, where the sausage is made. We shall see here. And so I'm hoping against hope. As I said, I don't need celebrities on this to make it better, which is a huge compliment to the people that made the show. That you don't need the celebrity crutch to make work, and I think it doesn't appear to be better with a celebrity.
Next week we'll have Got to Get Out as well as $1 Million Secret, and in my opinion, already without ever seeing any of those episodes, I think it's going to take away from that in knowing that we do number one, they were smart in releasing this a week earlier. That's fair.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's going to be two very similar shows. And I think that Netflix might have it in the bag. Again, I will reserve that judgment till a week from now when we can view them both head to head, but it is a very similar format. But I will say the Netflix team, you have struck gold. It's good. I'm engaged.
Yeah. Does everyone have Hulu? I mean, I have Hulu. Do you have Hulu?
I do. Yes.
Does everyone have Hulu? I feel like everyone has Netflix, right?
I feel like everyone has Hulu because no one has cable anymore, and Hulu will give you the most network television for one subscription. I'll say that.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I have Hulu, I have Netflix, I have Disney, I have Max.
But is Got to Get Out going to be one of those ones that they air on Hulu and Disney Plus? Because remember, they're in a partnership right now, so there's a small chance that it might actually have a wider audience there.
Yeah. Well, no, as I said, I have Hulu, so I don't care about the Disney Plus people. Just really thinking about myself. But no, as far as viewership, I think And just once again, like this is no celebrities, and you're looking at Omarosa and Spencer Pratt and the guy from the Marvel Universe movie that I watched and was like, oh wow, we're not doing Avengers anymore, are we? But apparently we'll play a big part in Doomsday, so I take it all back. We shall see. But yeah, so Philip, where can everybody find you?
On TikTok and Instagram, P Solomon number 12, because I am born on New Year's Eve, the 12th month.
There you go. And no, it's all O's. P Solomon. And I'm at Jonny Fairplay on everything except for the TikTok. I'm at Fairplay Talk there. Go to JonnyFairplay.com for links to all my stuff. Go to realityaftershow.com for links to everything concerning the network. I will be back tomorrow night. I will be talking Survivor season 48. I think we have a very special guest. I'm not sure. Who's to say? And tomorrow at some point, or over the day after that, or the day after that, who's to say? Me, myself, Philip, and Bobby Goodsby will be watching episodes 4, 5, and 6. We will drop them episodically as soon as possible. Sorry for delay, folks. Life got in the way. I mean, I had to finish Temptation Island before I could even start this. But did I mention what they say? Okay, you know. All right, so everybody subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment. The best way to control the algorithm is leaving a comment. So for Phillip Solomon, I'm Jonny Fairplay. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.